Today, we're gonna talk about accessibility because I really like this topic. That how it used to be so different. Now, everybody on this planet is connected, so you can reach everyone, you can reach anyone within 2 seconds. But back in the day, it was completely different. There were no mobile phones, there were no social media apps, there were no WhatsApps, Vibers, and Telegrams, and so on. So there was, if they were lucky, they had a landline, and it was very difficult to reach people. And I saw this guy on the internet who was talking about this, how blessed this situation was. And I want to talk about this today, but first I need to tell you that my client came in with a box of strawberries. It was a kilo, even more, and it looked absolutely delicious. And she told me that I can have a strawberry. So I took one. I was very shy, about this because I knew that it was very expensive. It must have been. We're living in London, and I saw the quality of these strawberries immediately. The color, the whole thing. I said, "Oh my God, this must be very very expensive." So I took one strawberry, and she said, "Okay, have one more." And I was like, "Oh my God!" So I took two, and it was really amazing. It reminds me of my grandparents because my grandma, I remember this scene so clearly. So my grandparents, they had a weekend house. I grew up in Eastern Europe, in the capital, Budapest, and very close to Budapest, there is a place called, it's a place called Fort. And now it's actually a town. It got promoted as a town, and it's very famous for having a studio there. So they made lots of movies there, lots of Charles Dickens adaptations, Robin Hood, and they had what else was there? Oh my God, Netflix, of course, The Witcher, and so many other ones. And many times we were 31st of December, we were watching, we were having parties there. And 20th of August, which is sort of like an Independence Day in Hungary, we were watching the fireworks as well. It's very expensive, very famous, very expensive. They spend a lot of money on it, and basically it's around the river Danube, which is slicing the city Budapest in two. And you need to flock 20th of August, you need to flock around the river Danube to see these fireworks. And now it's obviously drones as well, and it's absolutely amazing. And I remember my childhood, we went up to the weekend house, my grandparents' weekend house in Fort, and we were watching it from there because we had a very good view of the city. Well, anyway, I remember this when my grandma came to me, and she had strawberries in her hand and blueberries and stuff like that. And she asked me if I want it, and I said, no, 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 I think I'm fine. And she was like, yes, you don't want it because it's free. But in the future, when you need to pay for it, oh yeah, you're gonna remember this. And it was absolutely true. Because today, when my client came with this box of very expensive, very good quality strawberries, and I took one and I took one more because it was allowed, I remember this, that we are living in London, and the fruits and vegetables are getting more and more expensive. And I remember my grandma, I remember this scene. I remember this weekend house. My grandma is still very much alive. This weekend house in Fort, it's gone already. It was sold off, and I think about it many times. That maybe we could have done a little bit more to keep it in in the family. But anyway, it's gone now. So I am sitting right here in London, not in Fort, and I'm talking to you about accessibility, how it was back in the day. So this internet person was talking about the accessibility, and he roughly between 30 and 35, and he said that it was very good feeling, and people now, they don't know how good that it feels, that people are unreachable. For example, over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, No one can call them if because it's landline. Maybe someone gonna pick it up, maybe not. And how good it was. And I was listening to him, and actually I remember it completely differently. When I was younger, actually, back right now I'm in London, and this guy who was talking on the internet, he is from the USA. But let me tell you how it was in Eastern Europe back in the day. Everything was open. Every office, almost every office, had an open door policy. It was so open that we had a sort of like Comic Con event, and we had a group publishing comic books. Obviously, most of them were read by children and people in their 30s who were very interested in American culture. So we're talking about X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, and so on. And he said that sometimes there is a week that no one walks up to his office. So this guy is the editor-in-chief of the Semi Group back in the day, and he had an open office policy as well. And he was talking at an event, and he said that sometimes there a week passes that no comic book reader would walk up to his office. No fans would walk in during working hours, talking to him, asking questions, and he decided to encourage this behavior by leaving free comic books at the entrance. So he speculated that people would come in to get the free comic books, and while they were there, they would go to his office and talk to him. So I was very much into comic books because I had a family, part of my family living in the USA, and they were always sending a box of comic books for birthday and Christmas and stuff like that. And my best friend from high school, he was very into computer games, and I went with him to one of the magazines office. They were publishing magazines for computer games, like critics and articles about computer games, And we walked in, and I remember there was no reception. The door was completely open, and anyone could walk in. And when you enter, there was like, I don't know, there was a room with maybe 6 or 7 desks with journalists who were playing video games for money. They were getting paid for it, and we just walked in, and you could go to any desk with anyone and talk to them, and you were a absolutely complete stranger. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about today: accessibility. In every single culture, every single country was different few years ago. So the internet completely changed everything. Social media changed everything, and everyone is connected now. You can reach anyone in 2 seconds. But walking up to them, and as a total stranger, walking up to them and asking about their job, and they would stop what they were doing, completely stop, even though they had a deadline, stop and talking to you, and you were standing by the desk. It's absolutely impossible in 2025. You cannot walk into the office like that. Yeah, it was completely different. Internet changed everything. Social media changed everything as well. Oh yeah.